right away. But it's not just domestic opponents that Gaddafi has to worry about. The chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court says he'll investigate the Libyan leader, his sons, and those with authority over his security forces for alleged human rights violations. Mourners have been paying their respects to the opposition fighters who died in Brega. Al Jazeera's Jackie Rowland was there.
The battle for eastern Libya rages on, from the air and on the ground. The rebels' advanced positions are now about 50 kilometres west of the town of Brega. Pro-Gaddafi bombers make sorties overhead. The rebels fight back in any way they can.
The airplane came and we fight them. Then they bombed us with 3 bombs. This is the one, and the other one there, and the third one there.
The bombers missed their target. Local people think they were aiming at an oil facility, crucial to the war effort in the east of the country. The town of Brega remains in rebel hands for now. The fighters are under-equipped and poorly trained, but they are armed with a passionate will to get rid of Muammar Gaddafi. The battle has claimed its first victims, 6 men from the nearby town of AlJazeera. They rallied to the front line to defend the revolution, and they came home in coffins, fallen for the new Libya they wanted to build.
For the people of AlJazeera, these men are martyrs to their revolution. And the more of their comrades who are killed, the more determined they are to defeat Muammar Gaddafi.
And so the fallen of AlJazeera are laid to rest. The formalities of death are brief and simple. The inscription reads, "Here lies the martyr Hassan Umran."
My nephew died for his country. He went to Brega to fight and Gaddafi troops killed him there. Each person must be ready to die for his country.
These families have paid the ultimate price in this bloody revolution. And as they say goodbye to their sons, nephews, brothers, they know that other people will doubtless die before the struggle is over. Jackie Rowland, Al Jazeera, in eastern Libya.
Government officials from the Netherlands are in negotiation with Libyan authorities as they try to win the release of 3 Dutch Marines. They were captured on Sunday by forces loyal to Muammar Gaddafi after they landed in the coastal city of Sirte. Dutch officials say the Marines were trying to rescue 2 Europeans who've since been handed over to the Dutch embassy in Tripoli. Libya's embassy in The Hague remains under watch by police while the government negotiates the Marines' freedom. As we've been reporting, the Libyan crisis has had a significant impact on oil prices worldwide. The country is Africa's largest single holder of oil reserves. But it isn't just cuts in the supply to world markets that's of concern. As Tim Friend reports, Libya's political future could also suffer from a damaged oil industry.
With a protracted fight in prospect, the crisis over Libyan oil grows by the hour. It's Africa's largest single holder of reserves. Officials, Gaddafi loyalists, admit production is half the normal output of 1.6 million barrels a day. The reality is it's probably been slashed by 2/3. And because Libya relies on oil exports for much of its income, a damaged oil industry would radically slow up post-conflict recovery. So how bad is it?
Around 80% of the proven oil reserves are located in and around the Sirte Basin, which includes much of the fighting. Oil has reportedly stopped flowing at the Nafura oil field. The El Bouri oil field off Libya's western coast is the country's largest producing oil field, where production is also affected. Other key areas include the Al Hamra fields and the Mazouk Basin in the south. There, production is continuing as normal, according to the Spanish operator Repsol. Once produced, the crude is piped to the main terminal points for export. Libya exports its light crude from 6 major terminals. 5 of those are located in the east, which has mostly fallen into rebel hands. The Libyan Air Force has bombed the oil terminal town of Brega, as pro-Gaddafi troops try to recapture the key port. At the Brega oil facility, production has been slashed and there are few employees left.
It's really the source of government revenue for Libya. I think it's somewhere it's well above 90% of the actual export revenue which the government can collect, which comes from crude and gas and so on. So any kind of future government of Libya will need the hydrocarbon production.
The head of the National Oil Corporation refuses to give any figures on current production levels, but says oil production has halved because foreign workers, most of them technicians, have fled the fighting. He says none of the country's oil installations have been damaged and that Libya is continuing to produce and export. But oil companies can no longer rely on Libyan supplies and will look elsewhere. Tankers at Libyan ports have been demanding $50,000 a day, triple the normal rate. If the crisis persists, supply cuts to world markets could push oil above $130 a barrel within 4 weeks. Tim Friend, Al Jazeera.
A German security official claims the man accused of killing 2 U.S. servicemen on Wednesday has confessed to targeting Americans. The men were killed when an armed man boarded a bus carrying U.S. airmen to a Frankfurt airport terminal and opened fire. Prosecutors say they are now looking into what sparked the attack. Rupert Murdoch's media empire looks set to grow after the British government approved News Corporation's $20 billion takeover of satellite broadcaster BSkyB. News Corp already owns 39% of the business and 4 newspapers in the UK. The deal remains subject to an industry review. Lawyers for Julian Assange have appealed against a judge's ruling to extradite the WikiLeaks founder to Sweden to face sex crime allegations. Documents were lodged at the High Court in London, but the appeal process could take some months.
The requirements given by some of those charges is that WikiLeaks is the enemy of the United States, that a publisher is the enemy of the United States. And nothing in our 4 years of publishing shows that that is in any way true. We publish from all countries who come to us. We are not an enemy of the United States, and it is an abuse against Mr. Manning and an abuse against us to suggest otherwise.
6 women have been killed in Côte d'Ivoire during a rally for Alassane Ouattara, the internationally recognized winner of November's elections. Witnesses say security forces loyal to President Laurent Gbagbo gunned the women down in a northern district of Abidjan. Earlier, I spoke to Youssouf Obamba, Côte d'Ivoire's ambassador to the United Nations, and I asked him what needs to be done to stop the violence.
I'm calling right now for a change of the mandate of the UN mission in Côte d'Ivoire. This mandate should be upgraded, should be reinforced to, let's say, to have a sort of peace enforcement mandate, because otherwise the killing will be